Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I have another quote today. It is from someone called Dale Eilerman, and I did look him up. He's a mediator, conflict professional, and the quote is, "A willingness to trust and openly listen is essential for collaboration to be successful." I talk about trust a lot when I mediate and when I teach, and trust in conflict it plays such a huge role in conflict. When trust breaks down, we do this thing. It's quite a natural human reaction that we have, where we make negative assumptions about people's intent. So that's actually the whole content of that free training guide that I have on my page on collaborationschool.com. It's such a huge phenomenon, and it's so fascinating to me to see it when I am hired to mediate, to see it in action. It's pretty fascinating, actually. So like I said, it's a natural thing that we do. When trust breaks down, we make negative assumptions about the other person's intent. That breaks down trust even more, which means the next assumption is even more negative. That breaks down trust even more, and then snowball, and that's when we go to that place of villainizing. A lot of the times we don't even have to have trust break down between us and maybe the person that we have conflict with. Sometimes it's trust broke down because of maybe a past experience that we've had, or maybe a past experience that they've had. Maybe trust has broken down between us and management, say. So let's say we're in a say a unionized environment. It doesn't have to be unionized, but let's just say it's a unionized environment. If there's a history in that environment of us against them, and of, we want to keep things from you, and so we're going to whittle you down, or we're going to get all we can, so we're going to ask for more than we really want because it's a negotiation. So that kind of competitive relationship, even if it's a brand new negotiating team, say, that can create a culture where maybe the trust has broken down as a result of past experiences, not necessarily with you and whoever it is you're having the discussion with. Maybe it's a new manager and you've never worked with this person before, but if you had a negative experience over time with past managers, maybe you bring that into your conflict, right? So that can be something that can break down trust with the other person, and lead you to have some negative assumptions about that other person. Maybe it's a family situation where you've had experiences in the past in other relationships, say. So let's say it's a romantic relationship. Maybe in past relationships that had nothing to do with this person that you are in relationship with right now, where trust broke down between you and a past partner, you might actually bring that into a new relationship as well. So like I said, trust doesn't necessarily have to break down between you and the person that you are in conflict with right now for it to have an effect. So it's really important to, when you're preparing to address conflict, to really think about, has trust broken down? Am I making assumptions? What are the assumptions that I'm making? Do I really know that they feel this way, or they had this intent, or this is why they did X? Can you challenge yourself? And so I think, if you want to learn more about that, I really would advise you to get that free download. And it's, like I said, it's like a 5-page guide or something, and it's totally free, except you have to give me your email address. So haha, not quite totally free. But I promise I won't harass you too much, but I will send you some information about the course. People always ask me, how do you rebuild trust when trust has broken down? How do you rebuild it? It's always such a key thing, and it's such a difficult thing to do when you've allowed conflict to really spiral to that place where you've villainized the other person. I often say, you know, the formula for rebuilding trust for me is that you make agreements with the other person and you notice each other following through on those agreements. I don't know any other way of rebuilding trust. Maybe there's some leaps of faith that can help with rebuilding trust, and probably you do have to start there, you know, that sort of, I want this to happen in a different way, I want this to be resolved in a different way, I want to collaborate. You know, so there's a bit of a personal buy-in thing that has to happen, and maybe it is that sort of leap of faith. After that, really it is making agreements with the other person and noticing each other following through over time. I think that's the formula for rebuilding trust from my experience. So just going to revisit the quote here. A willingness to trust and openly listen is essential for collaboration to be successful. I've talked about listening before as well, and that idea that, you know, most of us don't really truly listen. We listen not to understand. We listen to respond, right? And so that listening piece is also really, really important. But that trust piece, that's a biggie. And, you know, when you have a trusting relationship, things happen really fast. Decision-making happens really fast. Conflict resolution is easy, right? So when you have that trusting relationship, the good solutions just fall from that. And so most people, however, in my experience, spend less time on building the trusting relationship and more time on getting the job done. And then they focus on building the good relationship after the trust maybe has been broken down. And that's when it's hardest to do. So the more time you can spend up front building trust and maintaining trust, the easier it is for solutions to come, and the easier it is to prevent conflict in the first place. So that's a biggie. So thanks for watching. I see Colleen and Marianne are here, and thank you so much for watching live. And thanks to everybody that's going to watch after I close out the live session. So thanks.